Hi, I'm Allen Henderson, a broker at Henderson Real Estate. Welcome to the Ahwatukee History Project. Today, Marty's going to interview Joe Garner. Joe's a grandson of Arthur and Molly Hunter. In 1909, Arthur Hunter homesteaded the land in the open desert at what would become 48th Street and Thistle Landing. It was the start of what became Hunter Ranch. The ranch grew and became an integral part of the Kyrene Farming Community. Joe grew up on the Hunter Ranch. Hunter Ranch was located on a dirt road known as Hunter Drive, which is now known as 48th Street. Joe loved the ranch and refers to it as his wonderland and his playground. Let's listen in as Joe reminisces about the early days on the Hunter Ranch, their neighbors in the Kyrene Farming Community, the castle on the Ahwatukee Ranch, and the swimming pool.
Hi, I'm Martin Gibson, author of a couple of books on the history of Ahwatukee. I'm sitting here with Joe Garner, and Joe's going to tell us a little bit about what he remembers. I'm not sure we have enough film in the camera or time in the day for Joe to cover everything, but there are few people around who have seen and know as much about Ahwatukee before and after as Joe Garner. So, Joe, I guess we'll just start by telling me a little bit of background about how you or your family got to what became Ahwatukee.
Well, thank you for having me. I would like to acknowledge publicly that I appreciate all the effort you've made to popularize Ahwatukee and the history of Ahwatukee, because it's where my family started and how we are today. So I appreciate that very much. Thank you. My family homesteaded in Ahwatukee in 1909, and my grandfather Arthur and my grandmother Molly Hunter came from California, and they homesteaded on the 48th Street and Thistle Landing now. And we grew up on the ranch. It was a farm. We had 160 acres, and we had cattle and chickens on the ranch, and that's where I grew up. And Ahwatukee was not Ahwatukee. It was the North Desert and the farmland from Marion Vance. He farmed the cotton where the main part of Ahwatukee is now, and it was a wonderland. My playground.
Yeah, well, how lucky were you? And you mentioned Ahwatukee was not Ahwatukee, and 48th Street was not 48th Street, right?
No, it was Hunter Drive, because they named it after my family that lived on the road, and it was dirt road up to Warner Road, where the road ended, and Warner extended west to the castle.
The castle, okay.
The doctor that had the house out there, we didn't know the doctor, but we knew Mr. Slauson that took care of the place.
The caretaker.
So we called it the castle. And it was very, very exciting to see something out in the desert, you know.
Could you see that? Because there wasn't a lot going on here. Could you stand at Arthur Hunter's house and see clear all the way to the end of Warner Road?
No. To the end of Warner Road.
Where the castle was?
No. There was the little hill we're blocking it for 44th Street and Ray.
Okay.
There was the little hills there that couldn't see over it. But,
right.
We knew it was there because we would sneak out there and try to look in the windows and see the beautiful home that was.
Well, you're calling it the castle. That, of course, was the Ahwatukee Ranch. Byron Slauson was the caretaker, and it was the 12,000 square foot adobe structure that was built in the early 20s. So take us there, Joe. What was it like being there? It was
wonderful. He had a cactus garden around the house. He loved all these varieties of cactus, and of course, being out in the desert like that, it was the most magnificent thing in what is Ahwatukee now, because there was nothing else there except for Mr. Vance had a swimming pool in the middle of a cotton field out there, which he used for his irrigation.
There wasn't a traditional swimming pool, was it?
Yes, it was. It was a concrete pond that was basically a swimming pool. And we would take advantage of the swimming pool whenever Mr. Vance was not there.
Okay. Did he invite?
Oh, yes.
The public, so to speak?
Yes, he was a member of the LDS church, and they would have little swim fest out there, and he put a railroad car out there, so the girls could change in the railroad car, because that
Very
was
nice.
better and more convenient for the ladies. And we took advantage of that swimming pool as much as possible. We'd ride our horses down there, jump in and get wet, and then ride on, you know.
Oh, wow, how fun.
Mm-hmm.
Can you set the geographic stage for where the swimming pool was relative to the Ahwatukee Ranch, relative to where Arthur Hunter lived?
Between Hunter Drive and the castle, there was about a quarter of a mile west of the Hunter Drive, a little road went into the cotton field. And it's right about where the 17th, 18th hole is on the golf course.
The Ahwatukee Country Club.
Yeah, the Ahwatukee Country Club. It was right in that area.
Okay.
And, of course, in the middle of a cotton field, it was, you know, nothing around it, so you had 360 view of anything coming. You know, like if Mr. Vance was coming or Mr. Slauson was coming to check on us, we knew that they was coming in advance. But
so, did you ever get into the Ahwatukee Ranch, into the building?
No, we never. I don't remember ever seeing the doctor there, or the owner. It was always Mr. Slauson,
right.
And he lived at the corner of Priest and Warner in a mobile home.
Mr. Slauson.
Mr. Slauson did. It was a pink mobile home that sat on the corner right where the Circle K is now.
This would have been about what time period?
60s, early 60s.
Okay, because he had the 3-bedroom adobe house just off the big house where he raised his 5 children.
Yeah, but his mom lived down there in the trailer, and so he spent a lot of time there. We still always thought he lived there because he was always there taking care of his mother.
Okay.
And that's where he had a Studebaker, red Studebaker pickup, and that little old pickup was always blowing down.
And you could see it from miles away coming.
You could see it coming.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Can you set the stage a little bit for me as far as Arthur Hunter's homestead? Of course, you weren't around in 1911, was it, when he got here?
Yeah, and he built. There was one structure on the ranch that somebody had built prior to on the homestead he took over, and they stayed in that until he got his house built in late 11 to start at 12, and it was a 2-bedroom house that he built, had wood floors and lath walls, and he built that for his wife because they were pregnant with their first child. And my first uncle, Jake, was born in the house in 12.
Okay.
And he decided that it was time to start seriously farming.
Yeah.
And he had no farming experience because he was a laborer in Long Beach, California at the shipyards, loading ship with lumber.
Tough work.
Yes, very tough work. And that's where he met my grandmother in Long Beach at the docks. And my grandmother's father was a very wealthy man that had the lumber, that was bringing the lumber to the dock to ship, shipping.
Right.
And anyhow, he decided that he was going to learn to be a farmer, and he had to provide for his family, so he started farming.
If you enjoyed the video and want to see future episodes of the Ahwatukee History Project, be sure to give us a like and click the subscribe button. Questions and comments are always welcome.